on the portal, I've seen the BYU wide receiver offered. I think that's a big deal for Florida State to go after kind of an impact type guy, a guy that can make a difference. Keelan Marion, actually on the national channel, did a ton of BYU coverage this year because they were so good in the Big 12. Obviously beat SMU early in the year, and then they were really, really good. Faltered a little bit late, but then pulled it back together, had a nice bowl win over Colorado. Florida State offers there. They've also offered another transfer wide receiver, Nye Carr, in the portal as well from Miami. There's a kid that was committed to Georgia, flipped to Miami, and signed with them, and then he's gone just a year later. Big recruiting win for them to just jump in the portal a year later, which also kind of emphasizes how stupid college football is right now, where guys are leaving after just a year. But thoughts on Florida State and going after people. And also, it seems like, everything is negative, I guess, and I'm not trying to be super negative with this, but it doesn't seem like Florida State is even attempting to go after the really big name guys. Like, they're not even in the mix for the Jay Knotts that run in, the tight end, the injuries guy that came out of Cal and committed to Texas. Like, they're just not even after it for those big names. Is that more of a strategy? Is that more of they have limited resources? Is like what is the? Are we poor, Richie? Like, what's going on? Why are they not? Which maybe is all three. What is the? I think it's interesting. Not that you can't get big name guys going off of two wins, but like, obviously you have to pay more. But it's a little strange to me that Florida State's not even attempting to go after some of the top talent in the portal. After that's where Norvell is like that. If you said there was one thing that Norvell has done really, really well here, it's getting good talent out of the portal. And I just don't think I'm not saying the guys on the roster from the portal are not good, but not trying to land those guys right now is a little bit strange to me.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on exactly, CJ, but it seems strange to me. You would at least throw your hat in the ring, right? Say, hey, put some feelers out and see if these guys are interested. But at the same time, to your point, you're coming off of 2 wins. Like, these guys, a lot of them, they probably don't care about winning anything. They care about getting to the NFL if they're transferring right now. And if you're coming off of a team that just won 2 games last year, that's a huge issue. That's a huge barrier that you have to try to overcome. So I'm not saying Mike Norvell is not going after these guys, but at the same time, realistically, what interest would they really have in Florida State right now? Because if I were a guy transferring from somewhere and I had interest from other schools and Florida State, and I've said, oh, y'all won 2 games last year? Yeah, I'm going to be a little put off by that. And at the same time, think, no, I'm going to see what other options I have. And I think that could be playing a role in it. And it's just frustrating because, Mike Norvell made his name, right? 13-0 was built on the transfer portal. But at the same time, you went 2-10 the next year. And this is where we are. It's just so frustrating.
Yeah, and I know 2-10 is much worse, but the only counterpoint I would have to that is they were able to pull guys after back-to-back losing seasons, right? 3 wins and then 5 wins.
Guys nobody wanted.
Right? Well, everybody wanted Jared Verse. Like, that's not...
Nobody wanted Trey Benson or Johnny Wilson.
Yeah, they did a good job there, but they were able to pull guys out of the portal. They were able to pull dudes out of the portal after a couple of losing seasons. Absolutely. The other thing is, we have been told all along that, like, once you start winning, the recruiting will be better. Your recruiting is bad because you're losing, but I don't know that that's really true. First of all, because the recruiting didn't get much better after winning. And second, I watched Florida have back-to-back losing seasons and still pull in like top 10 classes. I watched Miami have a losing season and in Mario's first year still have a top, I think they had the number 8 class. And then when they won just 7 games the year after that, they had a top 5 class. And so I know that NIL plays into that too, but it's not like Miami just has more NIL than like Ohio State or Texas or Michigan. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all fairly comparable. And Florida certainly doesn't. They do very well with NIL. But I've seen other, and I know that's high school recruiting versus the portal. But I've seen other programs be absolutely god awful on the field and still pull in really good portal classes, really good. I mean, look at Texas Tech, and I know a lot of that's money related, but I think that's what you have to do, right? Like that's how you compensate or overcompensate for being bad on the field, right? Like, hey, we're going to pay you a lot of money to come in here and be an impact guy because we're going to stop sucking. And so, again, is it a strategy thing? Is it a necessity thing? I don't know. So that would be my only counterpoint to that is I've seen literally our rivals, like the teams that we focus on the most outside of Florida State, be pathetic on the field and still somehow able to land guys, right? Napier, I think, has a losing record at Florida still, despite their magical 7-5 year last year that they had, and they're still pulling dudes. And so I don't know. That would be my only. Okay, well, why when we suck we can't get anybody, and then even when we win, we still finish behind the other two. We finished after 13-0. We finished behind Florida and Miami in recruiting.
Yeah,
like that's crazy, bro. Like who had losing? Well, Mario and them won 7 games that year. They didn't have a losing season, but they went 7-6, right? And they still finished ahead of us in recruiting. And I think that translates over to the portal too, right? And so, are we cheap? Are we poor? Is it a strategy thing where we try and find hidden gems? If there was ever a year where they needed to go out and kind of break the bank to spend and get instant impact guys, you'd think it'd be this year where his seat is absolutely as scorching hot as could be coming off of 2-10, and it just doesn't seem to be the case. Somebody did ask a good question. How do you know they're not in it for the top guys? I mean, they're not even offering some of these guys that jump in the portal. They're not back channeling the right way. You know, Jay Knott, one of the best running backs in the country, goes to Oklahoma. So I don't think Florida State was ever really in that anyway. But he entered the portal, I think, with a do not contact, right? Like he already knew where he was going. Why aren't we tampering like that, right? Like why aren't we, you know? And then he literally signed within 24 hours of leaving Cal. Why aren't we doing that? Well, why is that not where Florida State is right now? Why are we not back channeling to get better players? I don't know. And yeah, the concern of, hey, Florida State just can't recruit. I mean, yeah, that is a valid complaint and yeah, they haven't done a good job of that, but you know, it continues to be a concern. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I mean, they offered the BYU kid kind of late. We'll see how much they can get in the mix there. He, you know, Marion, I think would come in and be a shoe-in for a top 3 wide receiver. I do like some of their young options. I'm not completely crapping on the wide receiver room today. I like what you've got in Squirrel and Deuce. I think they'll be your top 2. I think you can get a lot out of Jalen Lucas if he stays healthy this year. I think they'll utilize both Biscuit and Landon Thomas well. Should Thomas stick around, you know, who knows with any of these guys. And I like Boggs. I think they've got something in Lawayne McCoy. I think they have still a fairly good yet inexperienced room in a lot of it. But yeah, if you can pick up some impact guys, you know, now is the time to do it, right? And yes, things that happened last week on FSU's campus certainly slowed things down. It certainly put them behind the 8 ball in some situations. But I mean, it's now or never. You know, I mean, how confident are you? We've done kind of our record thoughts, and I think we're around 6 to 8 wins, right? As our most likely, you know, 7-5, 6-6, 8-4, somewhere in there, being kind of your most likely record results. But like, does this roster instill a ton of confidence where you think Florida State doesn't need to go out and get impact guys? I mean, that's kind of an obvious, you know, question, you know, that you don't have to. You can give whatever answer you want to it right now, but I don't know that I have a ton of confidence in this roster. If it doesn't, you know, should they go out and beat Wake? Yes. Will they beat the 2 cupcakes early in the year? Yes. Should they still beat Virginia, even though that's on the road? Probably. Stanford, they're a mess too. So yeah, I mean, you should beat the bad teams on your roster. But I mean, is there any confidence in your mind that they can compete with the 4 good teams on the schedule? Florida,
No.
Miami, Clemson, and Bama?
None.
And that's why I think you need to go out and land some impact guys.
Yeah, and they need to. And I unfortunately, we talked about it last week a little bit. I don't think there's any impact guys in the portal that Florida State can go grab right now. You know, any impact player that enters the portal is going to go to Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama, right? Or maybe an Ole Miss because they pay out of the wazoo. Out of that, like you're not going to get any true impact guys. This is not the early time of the portal when Mike Norvell was an early adopter. This is unfortunately a time where now everybody understands that when it comes to impact players entering the portal, you go after them hard. And if you have to overpay for them, you do that. And that's not going to be enough for Florida State. It's just frustrating because I do not think Florida State is going to land an impact player in the portal at this point right now.
Yeah, it would be tough to see. Marian's probably their best choice, best option. I don't know that they're I don't know that they're super close there. Nikar would be good. I don't know that I have confidence in him jumping up to the top 3 of the roster on the wide receiver position either. But I don't even know how involved they are there or not. Hey, if you're watching this, I kind of forget to do this a lot of times when we're going live. We've got good numbers here for Easter. Hopefully you guys have either had lunch or you're having it soon, and enjoy the time with your family. If you celebrate today, even if you don't, we wish you a happy Easter. But hit that subscribe button if you don't mind. Even on our holiday weekends, we're here. I even wore my magic blue for Richie today. Look at that to church this morning. Richie, I hope you didn't wear that to church. But
I did not.
hit the subscribe button and we'll keep it moving. I'm excited for more positive things one day to be able to talk about, but we do a lot of brown nose when we're positive. So I will say that.